Absolutely. Here's the hook bold. We're diving into billion-dollar drama and foam party disasters. But first, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss a meltdown right from the first line. Hook bold opening is Lauren Sanchez catching heat just for marrying one of the richest men alive. Or is there something deeper going on here because this wedding? It wasn't just extravagant, it was a full-blown spectacle. Silk-themed parties, foam-covered yachts, and guest lists stacked with billionaires, reality stars, and just enough chaos to make a Netflix series jealous. But beneath all the glam, fans couldn't help but ask, why does this feel so fake? Some are calling it the ultimate glow-up. Others say it's nothing more than a high-budget midlife crisis wrapped in designer labels and Amazon slippers. And while Lauren is out here soaking up the spotlight, throwing $25 million weddings in Venice, the internet is split. Is she a master strategist who played the billionaire game perfectly, or a walking red flag who just exposed how messy money can really be? Let's dive in because this story is more than just a love story. It's about power, PR, betrayal, and the wildest celebrity circus of the year. Absolutely. Here's Lauren's pattern with wealthy men, continuing the same engaging, fast-paced, slightly mysterious tone. Lauren's pattern with wealthy men. Before she was flying around the globe on a $500 million yacht, Lauren Sanchez was flying news choppers as a reporter. But even back then, she wasn't just chasing headlines, she was building connections. Big ones. Her first high-profile relationship? NFL superstar Tony Gonzalez. The two had a son together. And while Tony wasn't exactly Bezos rich, the man was worth a clean $50 million. Not bad for a starter relationship, right? But Lauren didn't stop there. Next came Patrick Weitzel, a Hollywood heavyweight with billionaire ties. He wasn't just rich, he was powerful. As one of the top talent agents in the game, Patrick could make careers happen with a single phone call. And guess what? Lauren's career just happened to take off after they got married. They stayed together for nearly 15 years and had 2 kids. From the outside, it looked stable. But insiders say Lauren always kept one eye on the next big move. Enter Jeff Bezos, the world's richest man, and the most controversial love story of her life. Suddenly, Lauren was everywhere. Tabloids, talk shows, yacht parties with the Kardashians. It's not just that Lauren dates rich men. She levels up with every relationship, first a millionaire, then a Hollywood power broker, and finally, the king of e-commerce himself. And if you think all of that just happened, think again. This wasn't luck, this was strategy. But it's what happened next that really raised eyebrows and exposed just how messy things were behind the scenes. Let me know when you're ready to continue with the Bezos affair and timeline twist. This one gets juicy fast. Absolutely. Here's the Bezos affair and timeline twist, keeping the pace sharp and the drama front and center. The Bezos affair and timeline twist. By the time Lauren Sanchez linked up with Jeff Bezos, the timing couldn't have looked more suspicious. January 2019 headlines explode. Bezos and his longtime wife Mackenzie Scott announced their split. Just hours later, a bombshell drops. Jeff has been having an affair with none other than Lauren Sanchez. And here's where it gets messier. Lauren was still married to Patrick Weitzel, the same Hollywood agent who supposedly introduced her to Jeff in the first place. That's right, the man who helped build her career also unknowingly handed her over to the richest guy in the world. What are the odds? Except it wasn't just a coincidence. The same year Jeff and Mackenzie split, Lauren filed for divorce too. Within months, the two were spotted everywhere, soaking up sun, dodging paparazzi, and leaking text messages that honestly should have never seen daylight. And while everyone was still catching their breath, Mackenzie Scott took a completely different route. Quiet, focused, and philanthropic. She walked away with $36 billion and didn't miss a step. Since then, she's donated nearly $20 billion to over 2,000 nonprofits. No yachts, no headlines. Just receipts. Meanwhile, Lauren was popping champagne on the open sea and planning a wedding that looked like a Met Gala meets a reality show finale. And the internet noticed. One woman was building schools, the other was handing out velvet slippers and silk robes at foam parties. The contrast couldn't have been louder, but as the public was still comparing their vibes, something even wilder was bubbling beneath the surface, the leaked texts that took this whole scandal to an entirely new level of messy. Let me know if wedding chaos, silk slippers, and mixed messages. This part digs into the tackiest details of the Bezos wedding circus. Absolutely, here's wedding chaos silk slippers and mixed messages, with all the tacky details and drama wrapped in a high-retention delivery, wedding chaos silk slippers and mixed messages. If there was ever a wedding that screamed rich people trying too hard, it was this one. Lauren and Jeff didn't just throw a ceremony, they threw an event so over the top it made royal weddings look humble. We're talking foam parties, silk-themed dinners, and a guest list packed with billionaires and influencers pretending to be besties. But let's get into the details that had people cringing. First, the slippers. At one of the wedding events, women were handed cheap black Amazon slides literally straight from the warehouse. Like, no shade to Amazon, but this was supposed to be the wedding of the century. And the men? They got Vincia velvet slippers. Never heard of them? Most people haven't, but they cost over $100 a pair. Why were the guys walking around in luxury while the women got bulk order basics? That right there set the tone luxury on the surface. Weird choices underneath. It was like they tried to blend opulence with "we're just like you" branding, and it clashed hard. Even the party themes felt random. Silk robes and yacht foam parties. It gave less elegant celebration and more billionaire fever dream. And while the outfits were making headlines, so were the awkward moments. Behind Lauren's photo-perfect poses were guests who looked completely over its stiff expressions, confused stares, and outfits that made some wonder if they'd accidentally walked onto the set of The Handmaid's Tale. One shot of Lauren in her wedding dress blew up online, not because people loved it, but because the group standing behind her looked like they needed rescuing. The dress? Controversial. The vibe? Forced. It felt less like a celebration and more like a PR stunt gone rogue. Even Jeff, usually the composed tech overlord, looked like he was in his midlife glow-up phase, all tight shirts, spray tans, and rich guy energy turned up to 11. But this wasn't just about bad fashion choices and party themes, because behind all the forced smiles, a deeper family scandal was about to explode, and it would drag both Lauren and Jeff into one of the messiest tabloid sagas of the decade. Let me know when you're ready for Celebrity Clout Games, where the guest list turns into its own subplot of hookups, rumors, and red carpet chaos. Absolutely, here's Celebrity Clout Games. Now, let's talk about the real reason half of Hollywood showed up to this wedding, and it wasn't for love. From the outside, it looked like a who's who of A-listers celebrating true romance, but let's be honest, this was a clout convention wrapped in silk. Lauren Sanchez's guest list wasn't just curated, it was strategic. It was giving networking event meets influencer retreat. You had Kim Kardashian and Katy Perry showing up to the bachelorette getaway, like they've been besties with Lauren for years. But come on, are we really supposed to believe these women are texting her on weekends? There was zero chemistry. It felt like everyone was there to be seen, not to celebrate love. And then came the chaos. Sydney Sweeney popped up, looking like she was on a solo side quest in a whole other genre. The morning after the main event, she was spotted strolling through Venice with none other than Orlando Bloom, who, by the way, had just split from Katy Perry. Awkward much, they both looked absolutely wrecked. Hungover, dazed, and giving total "what did we do last night" energy. And just when people started speculating about a hookup, Orlando was seen later that same day cozying up to a completely different mystery woman on a water taxi. It was a love triangle. Or maybe a square. Nobody knew. Meanwhile, Tom Brady was dancing with Sydney. Brooke Snyder was dancing with Sydney honestly. Everyone was dancing with Sydney. She was clearly in her glow-up era and wasn't wasting a second of it. And good for her, she had just gotten out of a long engagement. The girl was making up for lost time. Even Usher got in on the action, showing up in what looked like pajama couture and confusing half the crowd. His coat massive, his vibe totally off-brand. His wife, Jennifer, looked exhausted, and honestly, same. And let's not forget the Kardashian-Jenner crew hopping into water taxis like it was a runway show. Kris was giving Cruella de Vil energy in the best way. Kylie was doing Kylie's serving looks, owning the camera. But Kendall was wearing something on her head that just didn't make sense. It looked like someone dared her to make it fashion, and she took it personally. Even Oprah was there, floating through the scene in her usual pinky beige color palette, looking like the calm eye in a storm of influencers. And of course, her bestie Gail was trailing behind, looking more confused than ever, like she was still trying to figure out why they came. This wasn't just a wedding, it was a celebrity freak-off. Everyone trying to
No,
outshine
this
each
was
other,
Anna Wintour's
flirt their way
final
into
straw.
headlines,
This is why
or
she stepped down from
casually secure their
Vogue.
next brand
Why
deal.
would you
But while
literally
the
hire
stars
an
were
entire
dancing under
island
the
in
Venice
Venice
moon,
to wear
something way
this
more
and have
personal and
carpets
way more
at your
scandalous
wedding?
was about to come
They just hid
crashing
this from the
down?
Amazon
Because
offices.
what started as a wedding turned into a full-blown betrayal by someone in Lauren's own family. Let me know when you're ready for family drama and leaked sexts. This is where it all unravels. Absolutely. Here's family drama and leaked sex, where the glitz fades and the scandal explodes, delivered with maximum intrigue and pacing. Family drama and leaked sexts. Just when it seemed like Lauren Sanchez had the billionaire fairy tale locked in, the mess hit way too close to home. Because the biggest betrayal in this story didn't come from a rival or a headline, it came from her own brother. Back in 2020, while Lauren and Jeff were still basking in the tabloid spotlight, something deeply personal got leaked: their private text messages. And we're not talking harmless miss you texts. These were straight up steamy, borderline cringe, and definitely not meant for the world to see. Messages like, "I want to smell you. I want to breathe you in." And Lauren replying, "I love you alive, girl. I will show you with my body and my lips and my eyes very soon." Yes, that level of too much information. So how did these texts make it to the front page of the National Enquirer? Turns out Lauren had sent them to her own brother, Michael Sanchez, and he allegedly turned around and sold them to the tabloids for cash. Let that sink in. She trusted him with the most intimate messages between her and the world's richest man, and he flipped them for a paycheck. The betrayal was next level. The scandal sparked lawsuits, federal investigations, and more drama than anyone bargained for. Jeff and Lauren went to war with the National Enquirer, claiming blackmail. The Enquirer fired back. And suddenly, their entire affair, sex, photos, and even a nude selfie of Jeff in a towel, became global tabloid.